Hey, at least I'm not on the cranium.
Yeah.
You just told us you got some today.
I'm
There
about
you
to
go.
take the other half of it.
Here, I picked something up for our team. They're called Smarties.
Ugh.
The other side needs them.
That's what I'm saying.
They need to
These are
exploit them.
sour, by the way.
Ooh,
That
gross.
motherfucker just drank a fucking Perk 30.
You sit here while Craig is taking a break. That's funny. It's really Craig, I promise.
Well, hey, try to request him again, because I tried, but nothing happened.
He knows how to come up. I'm sure
Maybe
that
he
he's
don't know.
probably.
Oh, there he is. Maybe he forgot.
He don't know how to hit. He probably.
Oh, you gotta open the panel up. It says number amount of a guest reach limit.
Hold on. Y'all making me work.
I'm working on it. I'm already working
You
on
gotta
it.
get with the times, dude.
I'm supposed to have damn moderators for this shit.
I was working on it. You didn't give me enough time.
I don't have superpowers like GOP.
Yeah, I'm a super mod, I guess.
Hey, Craig.
There he is.
Barry's really feeling a certain kind of way about GOP being a mod.
So I just think it's funny.
Look, I want to show y'all this bullshit. Oh my god, I passed it. Never mind. I don't know how I passed it.
GOP is the biggest troublemaker on TikTok, and you gave him mod powers. That's hilarious.
That's the truth, though.
You keep
Right.
muting, Craig. You're muted.
All right, I'm mute.
Craig, how's your service?
Hang on just a second.
Yeah,
All right.
I figured. All right, no curveballs.
What do you mean you figured?
Don't be getting weird, GOP. Okay.
Excuse me?
Okay.
Don't make.
What happens if two moderators get into it in the damn live? Can they like kick each other?
Yes, it happens all the time.
You know, Metro do it all the time.
Okay. Guys, only have a little bit here. Taking a break, but what's up, guys?
Hey, how are you? So Dodge and I last night pointed out that that you've never really been able to like have a platform to kind of tell your own side of this shit, where the ops can also see. And a lot of people are saying that like your answers and stuff change, but I know a lot of people that support you, we don't feel that way. So since we had Brittany and Ann in here, I think we kind of wanted to level it, and I think Dodge had some specific questions he wanted to know about details. So I'm gonna let Dodge take that part over.
Yeah. What you got, Bob?
Well, I want to ask a question about what we were just talking about recently. How long, like, you met Courtney? Because if you remember right, I came in your live that night, and we had been beefing, and we had just all made up, me, you, and Austin. And this is, I guess, before you and Austin had your falling out, and you told me, you said, hey, this is my queen, this is Courtney. How long were y'all together? Like as far as calling yourself in a relationship, whatever, how long were y'all together total?
We started talking before we met, probably a month or two online.
Okay, given everything that you know right now about what Courtney has done and what Brittany has done, I mean, do you ever think that maybe Brittany and Courtney set the whole thing up, like for Courtney to just meet you, you know, pretend to like you or get involved with you just so they could create a victim for TikTok?
No, I don't think that. And I'm speaking on this because I had to talk to a lawyer, and there's certain things I can't say in certain words. So I don't know Courtney's mind. This is just my opinion. When we started going, we were going back and forth with Brittany. Austin was telling all of us in Discord that these people will call child services. They will harass people. They'll cause you to lose your job. So when and Courtney was in that Discord. And Courtney were in messages. We go live. We talk about no lives. And so Courtney, I feel, when Courtney decided to flip was right before Dodge, or not Dodge, right before Austin them on like the 17th, he got real distant with me when I started sending him messages. So they were saying there was some talk in Discord before that. Some situations. I think Austin and Brittany, he had her, or she had him convinced that I had done pew-pewed at a bunch of kids, and she had him convinced of all this stuff. So the Courtney thing is, when I was with Courtney, she didn't really know what was going on at that point. So when Brittany started getting on her videos, started commenting, Courtney sent me a text with a screenshot, and they were making fun of her having Miss General in her bio. And Courtney was like, "What is this? What is this about?" And I said, "That's that crazy chick. Be careful." Austin told us, and I had these messages. I've not had a chance to go get my other phone to where I can pull all this up.
All right, pause for a second, because I just want to interrupt you to say this to everybody that keeps saying Craig's story changes. This is basically verbatim what I was told in the beginning. And when I said I saw the text messages, I even remember seeing him show me this, and he told me this, and I can tell you exactly what he's about to say. He's going to say that they were kind of harassing Courtney, talking about, what are you doing with that guy, making her out to be a joke and shit. So everything that's been said up until this point has not changed from the original story. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And she started flipping out. She started going in panic, was saying, "Craig, I don't want them to get in my life. I don't want them. I just got my kids back. I've not had them back. I don't want to deal with this." So she went and took her kids. She privated her TikTok. She went and privated her Facebook. She did all this stuff. And I was like, "Well, Courtney," I said, "they ain't going to do anything. I'll deal with it. This is all in messages." So then when Courtney was just freaking out on me, basically, it kind of threw up a flag for me, because I was under the impression that she had gotten arrested for she was with a guy, he had rugs, and she was just an accomplice to that. That's why she got in trouble. That's what I was under the impression of. But because she starts freaking out on me, I went in on Truth Finder and I found her charges. And I called her and I said, "Courtney," I said, "why would you not tell me about your child charges?" And she went off on me. The call wasn't a minute long. I still have that call on. It wasn't a minute long. She started cussing me out, told me I had no right looking into her and all that stuff. And she hung up on me. So then she kind of ignored me for a day or so. I kept saying, "Hey," or not a day or so, through the day. She was like, "Hey, I just took a nap. I took some me time, just trying to figure things out." I'm like, "Oh, I apologize for whatever." And then she she sent me a text that I don't think we need to be together. And I said, "All right." I said, "I'm going to let everybody know that, we just met up. It didn't work out." And that's when she got pissed. So then she said in a message to me, was like, "Well, I feel like that you wasn't," the cop that I had look at this told me that he thinks that's when she flipped, is when she said, and I told her, she thought I was going to make her look like a one night stand with AFF. She thought that people were going to come at her at AFF or not be friends with her, and she was going to look like a one night stander. So she was like, "Well, I just feel like," because she started talking, and she goes, I just feel like that you wasn't completely honest with me that night. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, what is that supposed to mean? And she said, I just feel like there's things you wasn't completely honest with me about. And this is all in text message. And I said, I don't understand that. I don't know what you're talking about. And I went in detail about everything that we done. What do you not understand? So, and that's when I feel Courtney flipped, because at that point, Courtney was going to try to play a victim, but stay in the shadows to keep Brittany in and them from looking into her. And she didn't she tried to convince me, and I have these messages as well. They go on about a video or a voice recording that I left her threatening her, and that's not true. I called her because people started saying, hey, Courtney is in Brittany's comments talking about how gorgeous she is and all this stuff. And I was like, really? So I sent her a message. She didn't answer me. I was like, are you in her comments? And so then I called and I said, Courtney, why would you be in a woman that's saying all this shit about these comments? I don't understand what this is about. So she doesn't answer me. That's the voicemail I left her. Never threatened her in any way. Didn't have a clue that it was her at this point doing it. She sent me a message back that said along the lines that she don't know what I'm talking about, that she don't care who's telling these things, that it's not true, that I know how she is about her piece. She's not talking to Brittany or anybody else. She's just taking time for herself or whatever. And I said, well, people are sending me screenshots of you being in comments. She was like, well, I don't care what they're saying. That's not true. So, and that was the end of it. And I think that's why Courtney felt like I was going to come out and was going to be mad at her and attack her or whatever, make her look like a one-night stander. And she wanted to be a victim. So she went to Brittany Ann. Well, she actually went to Austin, because Austin told me she went to her and he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, or I don't know nothing about this stuff. He said, but I can get you in contact with Brittany Ann. So then Brittany Ann, that's where they got in contact, according to Austin.
Okay.
And
all right. So basically, to sum up that, Courtney is somehow in the Discord and she hears Austin talking about how Brittany and Sam are the type of people that attack people and try to get their kids taken from them. Mm-hmm. After yours and Courtney's date, Brittany Ann basically starts kind of harassing Courtney, and then Courtney comes to you about it. You say you'll take care of it, but somehow Courtney winds up. You're saying Courtney probably flipped because she was more worried about them attacking her, and they basically forced her to be a victim. But at some point, it sounds like Courtney decided that she liked being a victim. They literally harassed her until she went along with their story, and then basically kind of seduced her into liking being a victim, and here we are.
Right. So, there's so many things that
I just want to say something real quick. So, also, can you clarify, since we're right here, can you clarify, you said that Courtney reached out to Austin. Perfect. Okay. Was that before you knew that you and Austin were going to have issues, or before he was going to make the video calling you a monster, or was it after?
I think this
Your knowledge.
I'm not real sure, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I know on like the 17th or 18th, something like that, is when things just completely went downhill. I forget exactly the date, but I have to go back on when I got blocked and all that.
Yeah, no, you're correct. So, Courtney sent you a text message according to her story on the 19th, and that was pretty much when she was calling it off.
Yeah, okay.
So
maybe.
It was before.
It sounds like Brittany sent Courtney to Austin so Austin could send her back to Brittany and get this whole damn thing started, and Brittany could act like Austin actually started this, or Courtney started this by going to Austin. But really and truly, Brittany basically forced Courtney to kind of go to Austin. and Austin send her right back to Brittany, and then Brittany later on would have an excuse to say Courtney didn't bring this to the app, Austin or Craig brought it. Because bottom line, I mean, after how they answered my questions last night, they're all saying Craig brought this to the app. But really and truly, just from their answers last night, it's either Austin or Courtney brought this to the app. It's not Craig brought it to the app.
Yeah.
No. So the only reason I brought it to the app was when the stuff come out about Shale and Austin, and that was going back and forth. I told Shale, I said, I've got some stuff that I can send you, because Shale called me and was like, I've got stuff that you need, and I feel like a fool. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I feel stupid. She goes, Craig, she told me that Courtney called her, and when all this stuff, when all this, after me and Courtney got into it, that she had told her or texted her, I can't remember, I had to go through all my messages, and told her that she felt like that I wasn't being completely honest with her from that night. And Shell was like, what do you mean? And she goes, well, I got really drunk and I couldn't hardly walk for a couple of days, and and Shell said, well, Shell told me, said, well, could he have put something in your drink? Could he have done something like that? She was like, well, I don't know. I just feel weird. This is after me and her done been into it, and shit's broke it off. So, right in that area. So, Shell was like, well, I can get you with Austin. So then Shell calls Austin, and they talked with Austin. Austin's like, I can get you with Brittany. So and Shell said that she said that to her. But then when Shell was going through her messages, and she come across all the messages that Courtney had sent her that day, and the night before and the next day, she was like, whoa, this ain't adding up. This isn't true. She lied to me, because by Courtney's own words in her little story that she tells, people says I change my story all the time. My story ain't changed one time, and I would love for them to show where I've changed my story. Courtney's, take my story completely out, like I ain't even told it. Courtney's words, this came from Courtney in her little thing, that she woke up, it must have been around checkout time, because we heard people outside, like the cleaning people, and she woke up with me on top of her. She said that I was hurting her, and I told her supposedly.
Hey, Craig, hold on. Let me interrupt you real quick. Be careful how you word things, because if you word them the way you worded them when we were on the phone the other day, I'm probably going to get live banned.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will.
Don't say the C word anyway.
Yeah, I will. And so she said that.
And I don't mean see you next Tuesday. He was talking about what he supposedly did inside her.
Yeah. Well, that came from Connor. So but she said that she woke up, and she said I was on top of her. She said that I was hurting her. She said that I supposedly said, you're going to get us kicked out. And she said, well, you're hurting me. And I got mad, got up, and went and got in the shower. That's on her. That's what she told on her story. She never, and that's not true. I mean, the truth is, and I've said it from the very freaking beginning, is we came in, we passed out, we went to sleep, she took her pants off, and we fell asleep cuddling. That's what we done. We woke up, there was sun outside. I don't even know what time it was the first time. We ended up doing stuff. And then we were so dehydrated, she had Kool-Aid there from where we got from the taco truck or something, a drink. We were so dehydrated, we got us something to drink. We fell back to sleep. Woke up, we were supposed to be, I think, checked out around 12. I can't remember. I think it was wanting to say 12. And I got up. It was 11 when we woke up, and I said, "I've got a shower. We got to get out of here." So I went and took a shower, or 10ish. It was something I don't know. I'd have to look at the text, but I took a shower. I come out. She laughed about me singing in the shower. She was in the middle of texting Shell at that point. I walked over to her to get my clothes. I had a towel wrapped around me. I picked up her pants and was acting like I was going to put her pants on, and she was laughing. And she said, "You're a beautiful man," right like that. And I walked over to her, had my towel on, and my towel dropped. And I swear on everything I love, God strike me dead. She gave me a swiggly spit bath. I laid down. She gave me a swiggly spit bath, and we bred. Right in the middle of doing that, I said, "We got to get out of here. We got to check out at 12." She said, "Call the room. They'll give us more time. Ask for a couple hours because I got a shower." So I called the room. They couldn't give us 2 hours. They told us they'd give us an hour. So we bred, and she got up. She went and took a shower. We got dressed. We laughed. We listened to music. We sang. Then we went and ate, and then we left. We parted ways, kissed each other, hugged each other, got on the phone with each other. Well, I ran out of gas going through Oklahoma. There was a long stretch with no gas station. And I stopped. I ran out of gas. So I called her, and she called me back, sent me a text, said, "Baby, I'm sorry, my phone's down in my purse. I didn't hear you. Are you okay? And are you?" And I said, "Yeah, I just ran out of gas." And she was like, "You want me to bring you some gas?" And I said, "No, don't worry about it. I'll have some brought to me." And that's what I done. And when we were driving, we both pulled over and took a nap. And I told her, she said somebody come and knocked on her window, startled her. So I said, "Do you want to go live? And that'll help us stay awake." And she said, "Yeah, let's do that." So we went live. And that's what it was. So then at the dinner before we left, we were talking about our distance, how far we live away from each other, and how hard it's going to be. So I'd sent her a text that said, "Why do I feel like I'm not going to see you again?" And she said, "Well, you will. Why do you say that?" But it was all because of the distance. We had had that conversation because her son was getting ready to go in the military. Her daughter was moving to Alaska or somewhere, and we was talking about our lives just being so chaotic and so far of a distance. And and she was like, "We will. I think so. I want to see you again." And that was the whole thing. And I mean, she sent me text messages for 11 days that I was amazing, that, I mean, just all sorts of stuff. And then when this stuff went down with Brittany, it's just like it just, I don't know. When Brittany started harassing her, it just like it did a whole backflip.
All right, let me ask you something. Now, you showed me all these texts way back when, as far as all this is concerned. Nothing. Do you still have pictures? Did she like send you pictures of the post where Brittany commented?
Yeah.
So you have those pictures.
I do.
So everything else aside, we have proof beyond a shadow of a doubt that up until this point, nothing was wrong. Nobody was a victim. Nothing had happened until Brittany Ann engaged with Courtney, fucking just harassed Courtney. I mean, laughing at her, calling herself the Mrs. General or whatever. And that's, I mean, up until this point, I mean, so far, all we have proven is that everything was fine between y'all until Brittany Ann inserted herself in this shit.
Yep.
All right.
And I feel like, oh, go ahead on.
I was going to say, I actually, now that I was listening to Craig retell it from the very beginning, I actually have new proof that can help you on this. So at the beginning, when you talk about how Austin gave the Discord the warning about CPS and all that stuff, I was that person that told him and I still have the message conversation, and that's kind of what I was helping him with in the beginning. So that does add up even more. But Bear had a question, and it's a really good one too. Bear wants to know how long after the date was it that she turned into a victim? Do you remember about how
From the
many?
time we met,
From the time y'all got back from Oklahoma?
me and her talked and was talking about being together for I think 11 or 12 days.
Okay, so that matches the what Courtney and Brittany said, 11 days.
How long after the date did Brittany Ann harass her?
So I think Brittany Ann was in her comments harassing her on the 17th, and I think I'd have to look. It was around the 17th or 18th, and then it was like overnight. Courtney just quit, and then Austin blocked me, like on the 20th or 21st. I can't remember.
Now I want to
I have one more
point
question.
to me it sounds like Brittany Ann basically, for the most part, threatened Courtney and basically said, you're either going to be a victim for me or you're going to be my victim. And we've seen something similar with Allie. Back when all the Allie and Austin shit were going on, Allie literally came in a live that I was in and said, look, it's been 24 hours now. Just stop. This is my business. This isn't y'all's business. And they immediately started attacking Allie. It's like she didn't want to be their victim, so they decided they were going to make her a victim. And they attacked her. I mean, Sam even made comments, you know. I mean, she literally basically said, if you're not going to be a victim, then I'm going to attack your ass for being a dumbass woman, you know? I mean, so it's like they're threatening. They probably did the same thing with Courtney. It's like, you're either going to be Craig's victim or we're going to make you the dumbest bitch on the planet, is basically what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean, I've got the thing that people go on about, just like in the text messages. They're like, you said you'd get her room. No, I never did. That's not true. I actually have a text message where I said, she said, have you got a room yet? And I said, no, I'm not the kind of guy I just get it as I go. And she was like, well, I need to start looking. And I actually have a text where I said, do you need me to help you get a room? And she said, no, you don't have to do that. And that was it. And she got there. She got there. She pulled in the parking garage. I got her tag number to add to my room. She knew about that because I had to walk out to get her tag. She carried all her bags in my room. And when we were walking out, I said, if you want another room, we can go right here to the desk and get it. She said, are the rooms high? I said, I feel like they're pretty expensive. We stood in front of the desk and she looked on Google at rooms. And she was like, I don't know. That is kind of high. And then she looked and she goes, well, it's going to be about that price anyway. And I said to her again, I can help you get a room. We can do it right here. And she said, let's get a drink first. Let's walk and see if we can get a drink. And I said, well, I'm hungry. Have you eaten? She said, well, I pulled some cash out and got me a snack on my way down here. I'm not that hungry, but we can eat, go eat. And she said, I can look at rooms while we eat. And that's what we done. And not another word was said about a room until we get back to the room after we'd been out. And I have screenshots. I have all this to back up everything. We got back to the room. We went to the desk, got us something to drink, a candy bar. We come up to the room and she was like, I need something to eat or I feel like I'm going to be sick. And we looked out the window and there was a taco truck just right across from the hotel. I said, there's a taco truck right there. So she said, all right, let's go Get that. So we walked to the taco truck. She sat down on the curb and got wet. It hadn't rained since we've been there, so we got tickled about why her ass was wet. I mean, I was like, it could have been a drunk piss or anything. So we were cracking up on the way back to the room. We were laughing. And we come back in the room. She goes in there and changes her pants, takes her pants off, and she comes back out with, I don't know, sweatpants or leggings. I don't even know what she had on. And she comes back out. We ate, and she said to me, I forgot to get a freaking room. And I was like, well, I mean, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, there's no need in paying for a room this late. I said, I'll just sleep in my car. I said, I do it all the time. It don't bother me. And she was like, well, I don't want to take your room. And I said, no, it don't bother me. I do it when I'm traveling. I'll pull over and take a nap. I said, I'll just hate to pay for a room just for a few hours. And she was like, well, then just hold me till I fall asleep. So we laid down. I even got on top of the cover. She said to me, laying on top of the cover, she said, she had her back to me, was under the cover. She said, I can't move with you laying on the cover. So I said, okay. So I got under the cover. Still had my pants on. Still had all my clothes on. I got under the cover. I cuddled up to her. She started kicking around. Then she pulled her pants off. And she threw her pants down. And then she says to me, you're going to have to take off your jeans. I can't, I'm burning up. And I said, you sure? She goes, Craig, we're fucking adults. I said, okay. So I took off my jeans. And we went to sleep. That's what we done. We fell asleep till the next morning. And then we woke up and done what we done. My story has not changed because that's the God's truth of what happened. And I mean, I don't know. It's just
So nothing happened the night before.
I feel like you're.
nothing happened tonight. Do what? Do what, Augie?
That I don't think that it's changed since I've heard it. Even when I was against you. Honestly, the more times you tell it, the more things like click with me. That I guess kind of works out. But one thing that I wanted to go back to is at any point has Courtney ever confronted you about that night? Has she called you? And I'm not talking about the text messages. I'm talking about, has she actually confronted you, or has she accused you of anything herself from her own mouth?
No. Her girlfriend, her sister's boyfriend, actually popped in a live one time and said something smartasses, and I thought he was attacking me. So I sent him a message on Facebook, and I said, dude, don't come in there running your mouth. And he was like, man, I'm sorry. He said, I was just picking. He said, I've been watching this stuff. You know, I don't believe none of this, right? And I was like, yeah, I know, man. It's crazy. Well, then when I told Courtney, I got the screenshots before he went in and deleted that message. I still have those screenshots. So, and he told me, he said, she won't say nothing to the family. She don't say nothing to nobody, the family or nobody about this stuff. And I said, yeah, it's bullcrap.
What led you to contact her probation officer on the phone that day? Talk about that situation a little bit, because I think people want clarity on why you called her probation officer.
Because I called the cops to see what I could do. They told me that until she pressed charges, I can't do anything. And I said, so her just running her mouth or having people run her mouth, he said, well, you need to get a lawyer because it's a defamation suit. But as far as any kind of criminal charges, she has to come and she has to press charges on you. And it's going to be hard to get any kind of defamation on her if somebody else is speaking it for her, because then they can just sit back and say, well, this is what I heard, and this is, if it's not coming straight from her, it's going to be hard to get defamation on it. It sounds like they know that's the way that works, is why she's not doing it. So he said,
Hold on, I got
and
a question, and I'm going to be a smartass real quick, because the whole point of these lives is comparing my situation and your situation to each other's, and Sabrina and Brittany Ann's situation to each other's. And East actually gave me the idea to do this because she asked that question in a live one night. And at first I didn't think ours were similar because supposedly you had multiple people coming at you. But I want to ask a smartass question. Did you just steal my defense from me? Because I'm pretty sure, and think about this, because this is just one way that our situations are similar, Craig. You just got done saying you called the cops, you asked them what you could do about it, and they said nothing other than like suing her for defamation. And when my allegations came out, you think about this. You've went through this for a year, okay? When the allegations were made against me, the first thing I did was call the cops. I called the sheriff and I said, hey, I mean, what the fuck can I do about this? And he said, there's nothing you can do about it unless they press charges. Now, you think about this. It was 2019 when I first heard about it. It was 2024 when I finally threatened to sue and got charges pressed on me. So a total of 6 years, I was being harassed online. I wasn't having charges pressed against me. I was just being harassed online. And it wasn't until I finally took steps to make that girl either press charges or shut up that charges were actually pressed. So, I mean, I hope that your situation doesn't wind up being exactly like mine, because you've got at least 5 or 6 years to go before. I'm just saying, you understand how the situations are similar.
right. So yeah, and that's what I know, and that's where the probation officer come in. The cop told me, said, what I would do is, if she's on probation, she lives in Texas, correct? And I said, yeah. He said, did she have permission to go out of town? And was she drinking? And I said, yeah. He said, well, I would call her probation officer and force her to tell her story. And I said, like, what do you mean force her to tell her story? He said, if she goes to her probation officer and and her probation officer asks her why she did all this stuff, then she's going to tell the whole story. And then the probation officer, if she wants to press charges after she talks to him or whatever, then that's what I would do. So that's why I reached out to her probation officer. And that was trying to get her to go to the probation officer, make these allegations on me to a government official, and and it completely went the other way. She told the probation officer that it was a failed relationship, and I just wouldn't leave her alone. And that's what the probation officer is in, that he just thinks that we need to. So she still didn't come out and tell what she's telling on TikTok. And because that's what we thought was going to happen. We thought we was going to be able to force her to go tell that, because the cop told me in Oklahoma that they have cameras everywhere. On every corner of streets, they can see anything and everything that goes on. Places cannot.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Have
Greg.
that on video. They don't delete that stuff for years.
Try disconnecting your Wi-Fi, Craig. I think you're trying to get in the car or something and it's coming off Wi-Fi.
Oh, sorry. But because I called Cotton Eye Joe's, I called the piano bar. They all have videos of everything. Can y'all hear me now? Sorry.
Yeah, better.
I'm trying to go get me a drink. But can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. I was muted. My bad.
Okay. But they and that's the thing. I tried to force her by calling the probation officer. Okay. I figured she would go to the probation officer, and then They would have to go into an
And do you want to tell a little bit?
investigation. And the detective told me together they can see her kissing me bye. They'll be able. They have cameras on all that. The hotel steps cameras.
Well, most of those places
Do what?
only keep footage up to like 6 months.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
No,
hear you.
I talked to them. Yeah, no, I talked to them. They told me that they keep them for years. Even Cotton Eye Joe's keeps theirs, and so
Okay. Well, my thing is to hear Brittany tell this story, and let's just face it, this is Brittany telling the story, even though she wasn't there. This is Brittany telling the story. To hear Brittany tell the story, she implies. We've decided that's Brittany's cover up for when she lies. She implies. But she implies that Courtney woke up in the middle of the night and you were on top of her. And I've heard you tell the story about the next day and how y'all went at it the next day. She's basically leading people to believe that somewhere in the middle of the night, Courtney woke up and you were on top of her and all this shit. And it didn't make sense to me, because if you're saying y'all did it the next morning and somewhere how in the middle of the night she woke up with you on top of her, it didn't make sense to me. But what you're saying is, hold on, let me finish. What you're saying is y'all didn't do anything until the next morning, which means basically inebriation goes out the window. If you've had time to sleep it off and y'all both woke up, chances are you're both, coherent.
So you don't have to take my word for it. That came from Courtney. It was the next day. Courtney even said it was the next day. So she said that she heard cleaning people outside.
Okay,
so she knew it had to be around checkout time.
What I'm saying is the whole inebriation thing goes out the window, because if you've had, like I said, if you've had time to go to the taco truck and eat, soak up that alcohol, you've went to sleep, you've woke up, this whole narrative that they're trying to push, like you might have got her intoxicated and took advantage of her, goes right out the window. And if Courtney confirms that, then she was not. Did y'all get all that?
Everybody was going on because they started trying to say then that she was still drunk at 11, 12 o'clock the next day, because Courtney in her video out of her mouth said that it had to be checkout time that she woke up, because she heard people outside cleaning the rooms. So that came from Courtney. People don't have to take my word for it. Listen to Courtney's. So according to them, Courtney was still intoxicated at 11 or 12 o'clock. So we come in the room around 2 in the morning. We ate. We slept. So according to Courtney, because I have those receipts of everything, I'd have to look to see what time it was we stopped drinking. I stopped before her because we were at the piano bar. I actually have a video of her at the piano bar dancing, and she's wanting me to not record her. So but we were at the piano bar, and she went to the bathroom, and she come out, and I looked up, and she grinded on another guy. So I quit drinking, because I know me. I know that if I would if she was capable of doing something like that, because I don't really know Courtney at this time, if she's capable of doing something like that, then I'm going to blow up, and I'm going to end up going to jail on some dude that wants to run his mouth, right? So I just quit drinking so I could just sit back, and that's why I stopped drinking. I don't know.
Do you feel like you were still like intoxicated? Just because I know you're not a big drinker, right? So like, do you feel like even though you stopped drinking, you still felt buzzed, or did you completely?
Oh no, I was drunk. I was drunk, but I wasn't dog drunk. She wasn't either. We drank the same amount, and I had never. She laughed at me because when we went to Cotton Eye Joe's, she told me, she said, I said, no, I don't want anything to drink. And she goes, you're not going to sit here and make me drink by myself. And
what time was it? What time was it when y'all went to bed?
I'm wanting to say around between 2, 3, somewhere in that vicinity.
Okay, so contrary to what people might think, your body doesn't stop metabolizing alcohol because you're sleeping. Your body continues to metabolize alcohol. So I mean, if y'all went to bed around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and 11 o'clock when housekeeping was there, that's like in between 6 to 8 hours that y'all had to go to sleep and sleep that shit off. Your body doesn't stop working.
Now we came back to the room before 2. So we had stopped drinking at like 1 something.
While you were on there, like on the trip, that she felt funny after she had drank? Did she say something like she felt off, or she felt like it was different, or anything like that? Did she tell you before or after?
No, she never said anything to me about feeling weird or anything like that. That never, not till Brittany and him said that. I never heard anything about that. Not no text messages, no nothing.
I have
That
two
question.
questions, maybe. When you went at it, how long would you say y'all went at it? And I know that's personal crap, but I mean, I have a theory.
In the morning,
Yeah, in the morning.
both of them? I don't know. Probably 30 minutes or so, and we were dehydrated. I was just so dehydrated. She was dehydrated. I had a drink left over. She had a drink. We were taking drinks, not alcoholic drinks we got from the taco truck at the front desk. And we were just so dehydrated. Then we went back to sleep and then woke up. And the next one, probably,
And last question, I'm going back to work. As far as like position wise, and I know that this sounds crazy, but like, would you say y'all went for multiple positions, or was it just missionary, or?
Who did most of the work? I think what she did.
well, I mean, she was on me. I was on her.
All right, I think what Bear is getting at is if y'all did, I mean, she claims, and this is her own word of mouth, she had not had sex in a long time. And I mean, if that's true and y'all did like go at it and it was vigorous for 30 minutes and y'all jumped into different positions, then of course she's going to be sore if what she said about not doing it for a while was true.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she told me she hadn't.
What, Craig?
She had told me she hadn't had sex in a while.
And that's what I was getting at. I was just, because different
Because I
positions can cause different.
guarantee you, it's been a month for me and Bear, and I guarantee she got bruises all over her ass this morning.
God, gross. Another question.
Well, she had sent me a picture of a bruise on her arm a couple of days afterwards, and she goes, "You know how I got this?" And I have these messages, and I said, "No, honey, I don't. What'd you do?" And she goes, "I don't know. It was, I guess, from the other night. I'm not sure. I just seen them this morning." And or she said, "I seen them the other day, or I seen them a day or so ago." These were several days afterwards, actually.
And I saw these messages.
And she said, "But I forgot."
I said, I saw these messages. You showed me these messages.
Yeah.
And I've gotten fingerprints from being held down just, because I bruise easy. So if just like your fingers on my arms, it can bruise me.
Especially with alcohol.
Well, see, she's got a blood disorder, so she bruises easy. So she had told me disorder. So she had told me. She said, "I just seen them, but I meant to say something the other day, but I forgot." And she said, "I was just going to ask you," and I said, "I don't know, baby." I said, "I don't know if it was during us having sex or not." And I said, "But I don't remember holding your arm. I know we were holding hands. There was one time that we about fell off the bed and we were on the van. So she said, "Oh, I don't know." She goes, "I don't know. I bruise easy." And I was like, "I don't know either." And then I sent a message, and I said, "Did you feel like you've been mad, just being playing around?" Because that's what it was, and that was it. But I mean, that's what it was. It wasn't anything else.
I have 2 points that I don't middle, and so I don't want to go too far. The first one is going to be, can you talk about why she showed up a day late? Like, how was her mood? Do you feel like she was nervous? Do you feel like she was excited? And then the second one is, can you explain why Brittany says that around the 20th, threatening Courtney, allegedly, and also it's when Shell and JPK had some live, and there was a message that had Courtney in it. And go.
I don't know, but what was it?
Question was, can you talk about the day before, like why she showed up a day late?
Oh, she didn't show up today. Like we didn't plan on. We only planned on staying night, and we had talked about doing 2 nights if was going to get her kids. So she had to go.
Go ahead.
Kids, but she didn't get to. It was so late when she got to the night before, and then she still had to pack. So she didn't get to drop them off as early as she thought to come down earlier. So I told her, I said, "Listen, I'm going to not get there till early. I mean, it's going to be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when I get there. So just wait, and then you can leave in the morning, so you're not driving at night being tired." And she packed and all that. That's all it was. The only reason that she didn't come before that is because she didn't get to drop her kids off earlier than what she was hoping for.
Well, right now, right?
Yeah.
So you're only on a break. So we probably need to like cut this off until you can talk more about it. But I got one question before you go, because this has been irritating me since last night. Who was it that was in Patriot Mama's ear?
People don't know is there was another lady, I can't remember on the app, wasn't Patriot Mama, that ran with saying it was a 14-year-old because Brittany put it in a comment on a video, and that then Brittany went in and deleted it. The woman went on, they drug that woman, but it wasn't Patriot Mama. So Shell and Patriot Mama just ran with what that woman was saying because Brittany put it in a comment about of a child.
Okay, because I still have a recording in my phone that Patriot Mama sent me saying, "I just saw the video proof, Dodge. Craig took advantage of a 14-year-old girl," and all this stuff.
They thought that Brittany made people believe that the strippers that was in the video that came to my camper that night, what it was is I worked with one of them. She's like, "Oh my God, he's trying to get them drugs and all drugs." All it was is I put a basket out for them to fill their marijuana pen or something like that. Me and Daniel was with me, Turtle. We worked on her car. They hung out and took pictures on my bike. And girls were 20-some-year-old. I never slept with either one of them. Was nothing like that. But they tried to make that video. Them girls are still on my Facebook. I mean, they were just friends. And but Brittany tried to convince everybody that those girls were minors, and I was giving them roast.
So again, some more implications made by Brittany Ann that were totally false.
No, it wasn't mom and daughter. It was two friends. They were both dancers.
Hey, can you also, when did Shell meet Brittany Ann? I don't have that date from anybody. Because I know
We
that
weren't.
Courtney was texting Shell photos of her enjoying herself at your date. So I'm confused
Yeah.
when Shell met Brittany.
Well, Shell, when they all doxed, when Sam and Brittany doxed Becky, and we all started going at them, Shell was going at them really hard, and then they kind of befriended and manipulated Shell, made Shell think that they were trying to be a friend, and it was, but that was around that time. That was in the beginning, right around when they doxed Becky.
Hey, can somebody block the Sarah person? Hey,
Courtney's
come in here with your whole chest.
She said minors. That's what I'm saying.
All
She
right,
might have.
listen to this. Listen to this.
Audio of Greg threatening to kill that girl. And there's a video of him and a minor. I'm seriously, Josh, I'm about to delete TikTok. Like, I feel so fucking sick right now.
So I'm assuming the recording was the recording. Hey, answer me this, Craig, real quick. Who made the recording? Was that Grace? You know the recording I'm talking about, the one that Brittany posted?
I think.
Yeah, me and Grace arguing.
Yeah, that was made by Grace, right? And
yeah,
I'm not.
So I recorded a snippet of it.
So
there was a
wasn't.
snippet of it that I recorded. I played because they were acting like I was under the impression they were acting like Grace was their victim and I was abusing Grace. So I got a recording of Grace saying I had never abused her.
Okay.
And then I played that. But now Grace recorded all that other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to attack Grace, but in that video, Grace said, I haven't taken this to social media. This isn't on social media. And somehow it found its way to social media. And I think there's something really strange about that. And I also think that's something we have in common because I'm assuming you didn't know that recording was being made. And I didn't know the recording was being made with Sabrina. I might have known halfway through it, but I was too angry to even pay attention. But she said this isn't social media, and I'm sorry, you don't make a recording like that without planning on doing something with it. And so far, like before y'all got back together, part of the recording came to social media through Brittany, and then later on, when you and Grace broke up, all of a sudden the whole recording gets put out on TikTok, and that's all Brittany Ann's doing.
Yeah. Yep. But Grace is going on her life. I'm going on mine. I'm not going to badmouth my baby mother. On this app, I refuse to do that. And, it's Grace is happy. I'm happy. And, it is what it is. But,
Hey, I have a question. So, according to Courtney's story, I think, and maybe my messages or something, I learned yesterday that I didn't know before. So, Shell, when she went live with JPK, JPK showed text messages between Shell and Courtney about the breakup. Did you know that?
that what now?
That Shell messages between her and Courtney to JPK